First generation flame humans are the reason why the Fire Force Brigade exists. The Fire Force carries out the duty of putting these souls to rest and protecting the people of Tokyo from them. Now when it comes to first generation flame humans, or what you'd better know them as, Infernals, they actually vary in many different ways. Outside of your regular Infernal that cannot communicate and only knows destruction, you'd actually be surprised with how much there is to these Infernals, or first generations. Infernals actually have the possibility of becoming sentient. And what this means is that this Infernal can think like a human. Anything that you're capable of doing, they are also capable of doing. They're capable of having conversations with you, and they're capable of thinking for themselves. What this basically means is they have a mind of their own. And that actually interests me because what exactly would happen if a sentient Infernal tried to join the brigade? Do you think they'd allow that to happen, or do you think they'd put him to rest on sight? Tell me what you guys would think in the comment section below. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of feel like that'd be pretty cool if an Infernal did join the brigade, or if a character actually became a sentient Infernal. It would do a lot for the story and make it a little more complex. But yeah, who knows if that'll actually ever happen. But yeah, it would be pretty crazy to see maybe your favorite character turn into a sentient Infernal. And then the artificial Infernal. These are basically Infernals that aren't naturally turned into Infernals. What this means is spontaneous human combustion isn't what caused them to become an Infernal, but instead they were turned into one by a bug. And these bugs originate from a dollar, or in other words, hell. So I think it's pretty obvious to recognize that these aren't your ordinary bugs. These are actually infernal bugs. And the next type of flame human would be a demon. For the most part, they're pretty easy to identify. If they have horns, they're more or less a demon flame human. And what makes these guys so strong is that in terms of flames, they're extremely durable. And their fire potency far surpasses that of a normal flame human. And to give you guys an idea just how much fire you'd need to defeat a demon, it would take multiple flames that are as tall as mountains to defeat one. So yeah, these guys are no joke. And outside of these different categories and or levels of Infernals, they vary in size. You have your man-sized Infernal, then you have your giant-sized Infernal, which are usually as big as a building or house, and then you have your kaiju-sized Infernal. And these things are easily rivaling skyscrapers. And just some fruit for thought, just imagine if a demon was giant size or kaiju size. You guys got that in your head? Now, let's take that same demon that is giant size or kaiju size. Now, what if they were sentient? Like, a sentient demon sounds crazy in itself, but a sentient demon that's also kaiju sized? I just don't see anybody fighting anything on that level at all at this point. And last but not least from the Infernals, we have the Doppelgangers. Doppelgangers are the version of you that exists inside of a dollar. And once you meet your doppelganger, one of you are fated to die from the encounter. They will fight you to the death and they'll try to take your spot in the real world. As of the recording of this video, we are still learning more about doppelgangers, so I can't really go in depth when it comes to them, because there's just not that much information to cover. Now when it comes to the generations of flame humans, the easiest way to understand it is that each generation progressively gets better than the last one. For example, if you're a first generation, you're more or less just going to become an infernal, because your body can't handle the flames. But if you're a second generation, you have the ability to bend flames to your will. And what would progressively get better than that? That would be the third generation, having the ability to generate your own flame. But the issue here is, in hindsight, you'd think it would be better than a second generation ability. But what that means is, a second generation could just manipulate the flames that you just made. Each generation gets progressively better than the last, but each generation, regardless, has its own pros and cons. But with each generation, they progress more and more, and I guess you could say they get closer to a dollar or the flames. For example, what makes a fourth generation different from every other generation is because they awaken their Adala burst, and this Adala burst is essentially a part of the flames that created the earth. So with each generation, they get closer and closer to using the flames of creation, or in other words, hellfire. Fourth generations don't use your ordinary pyrokinesis, because they're using flames from another plane, which is Adala. And this is what the Adala burst is. And they are also capable of using an Adala link, and this is basically when you connect with or link with someone or something through Adala. I'll probably make another video going more into detail on that, because I know it's a lot of information to take in after everything I just told you. So yeah, that's it for the Infernals and all the generations in Fire Force, and be on the lookout for my Adala and Adala Burst video.